see, the other thing about this game that I'm proposing is that, in a sense, the user can create the environment at a whim. And it's just like in any way, shape, or form. The ultimate thing, here we're playing WoW, and I'm saying, imagine a game where you can create your own fantasy wonderland. Like, say you wanted to just go totally Japanese, just totally create a Japanese village with paper walls and people in kimonos and just everything and like rice paddies and little hobby horses and guys just training with swords all day long, and you could establish that, and it would be a living in-game environment that you can interact with, and it's manned by NPCs. See, this is I noticed several comments about, like, what are you talking about, this mythical AI thing? The AI thing is that you want to create an NPC that, and even a player controlled thing that will exhibit a sort of human-like quality. And you do this through like various things, and like one of those things is wealth. So wealth is like where bribery comes in, but it's also like salary and happiness. So part of this AI is that, well, you have to figure out, how do you make characters happy? How do you keep characters happy? And then once that's done, how are you going to maintain characters? So it's going to teach people who are managers, basically, in game. They're going to be literal managers. They can't slave work these peons in a way, which I think would be an interesting concept if it's possible. But that's part of it, that you can, in a sense, you can win away other NPCs. You can bribe other NPCs. So it's a kind of Second Life, real world with a violence is allowed, but it's all cartoon and it's not serious. If something dies, you're giving it back. Really. I mean, to a point. It's like your character ultimately is replenishable. You can just ultimately bam, replace it. If you just were suddenly died, and you had no idea why the guy killed you. And the thing is, who cares? Okay, you did that. Well, I was right in the middle of something, but you know what? I can actually carry it on because this character is the heir of that other character. So you have this sort of in-game lifestyle. So you do have a legacy. You carry on a legacy. You're always creating a new character, in a positive way, because there's a certain age thing. The character starts at 15 or 16, but otherwise, you are controlling a being in this thing, this landscape, which you are creating, and people around you are creating. So player def is always there, and the reason why is because skills are skills is like the ultimate goal of the game, the ultimate acquirement. It's like, I want to acquire more of this, ultimately. Because even in World of Warcraft, that's what it is. What is this ultimate thing I want to acquire, that I want to possess, and actually, in a way, kind of lord over other people? Well, it's whatever's presentable in the game, whatever's available in the game, really. So when you introduce an Age of Conan idea, okay, this is landscape you can control, that's going to perk a lot of interest. And really, that's, in my opinion, I think gets a lot more interest than, oh, you got naked or half-naked women running around. I really don't care about the half-naked women, man. Hey, it's cool, jolly thing to look at, but otherwise, let's go conquer something. Let me and you strategy, a way to just do something crazy amazing. Like, seriously, I want something awful, the goons, to get involved in this game and to form a guild, and actually to form such an elite guild that they conquer they rule the whole game world. And I make an agreement with them and say, okay, I'm going to allow that to happen, but here's the thing, I'll allow you to maintain that, but for a while, because I want to test and see what's going to happen in the game environment. And otherwise, if you're just too powerful, if it's just like, a lot of players are complaining, we're just going to, there's one little piece of land which you can defend, and we'll allow you to, rule that. But otherwise, because you guys are so well organized, it's like, in a sense, like if any group joins and they prove like just to really dominate the game and just make it unfair, just make an agreement, in game, right, with that faction, that group of people, so that way, see, that's the other thing, is that the player has a say in how the game is run. If players decide to revolt, they can just totally crash the in-game economy and ruin the gameplay for just however many other players. They can actually just totally riot, their characters and go berserk and just like start killing NPCs at whim, NPCs and avatars at whim. Just go on these berserk killing sprees in protest. And some people would be like, "Oh, that's childish," but at the same time, it's like he's messing up the gameplay, and also this player's voice is not being heard. This player wants attention. We're not giving him attention, and so it's like the GMs in a way would be kind of responsible for cleaning it up in game, but also like there's ultimate God power available. So that's how you maintain control in game. You have a sort of law roaming around that exists, but there's no real organization. They're just the modifiers of the game. They are the random acts of God in a way. But otherwise, the game environment, you construct the game environment. You create your own tapestry of a history, of a legacy. And that's the other thing. You're always going to have a legacy in this game, and people will be able to read that or know about it. So, and that's like loyalties. Your loyalties to various groups, and your known loyalties, because you can have secret loyalties as well, which is important for, because part of it's also experience. Whatever group you're a part of, if they have a goal and they're achieving that goal, there's a certain amount of experience that goes to the community, and you participate in that experience by, it's like you have some sort of weird mechanism, but it's like if you're part of a guild and the guild does some coup d'état in a state, a city, they literally overthrow the government and establish their own government, but you were like way over on another side of the game world, doing nothing, or whatever. Because you're a part of that guild, you actually get some experience from that as well. So like all these little things, so just major things like that, or little minor things like, oh, they killed a rival, faction, so they achieved experience. So you get part of that experience. And but the thing is, you contribute whatever you want. Like you contribute a lot of money, you contribute no money. And it doesn't matter, because whatever that guild sets up this is how you maintain membership of our guild. People will accept it, and it could be whatever the player wants. In fact, that's what you ultimately try to do. You try to accommodate all the players all the time, and just provide them more and more and more, and don't hold back. And to the point like, okay, well, what's the point of this game? Well, the point of the game is live life. Try living a life, and but also have fun with it. Just go nuts. You're recreating an orderly society, but we're not asking you to live it. We're saying, we're offering you the chance to do it and actually be part of the epic life. So there's multiple elements you can control. That's where the strategic element comes in too. So that's why, the whole original thing of like, let me slave my guy to your guy. And you can just totally control it. If I don't like what you're doing, I'll change it. And so that, because of that too, hey, you can participate in the giant battle and just watch it. Just watch your guy being controlled by another player. And just, you can imagine, it gets to the point, you got one guy who's got this really bizarre control, but it also depends like what the control mechanism is. So like a lot of it could just be, you can pre-program. You have certain character styles, because ultimately there is no class per se. It's more about position and what you're doing. So you have shieldmen, you got guys with weapons, you got guys with bows and arrows, you got guys with siege weapons, all controllable, all manipulatable, and they're all in different positions, and actual positions, realistic positions. And you just can't push through a guy. It's like right. you have to fight your way through a crowd of guys or maneuver around them. So maneuver is also there, and movement is somewhat real time. So movement and day length and age is somewhat real time. So what else can I say?